there is a history here that only makes it so much more difficult. As you say, I mean, Kadro still have yet to make playoffs, and if the curse is just that real, can G2 keep that alive, or can Fnatic finally do the unthinkable and take G2 out of playoffs?
But let's end the regular season in style. Welcome to Pick Ban. Fnatic on red, but they get first pick. Rumble's gone, Yunara's gone as well. The Jarvan and the Mundo ban against G2. That guy who came up in face paint, unfortunately for him, well, he'll be only Mundo on the Rift, or at least in the studio for today. Also the Yike that, the Jace rather, we just saw Yike pull up, that didn't get a win, is now also taken off the board. First pick from Fnatic, Dagda. The Vi was there in our last game. Razork loves this Vi, and he's going to put it all on the line for it.
And we just saw in that MKOI game how you can try and look for this trade with the Vi. You take these here for caps, okay, cool, but we're going to take the Vi and the Talia. We're going to set that up. But also, if you think back to one of the most successful comps that Fnatic ran last year, it was the Vi and the Kai'Sa combo that was at the forefront of that Fnatic discussion. So is that the angle that Fnatic want to try and go back towards here? Just more of that engage. But they're going with the Orianna and the Xin Zhao, so bypassing these here altogether.
But do they, I mean, lock in Talia here, right, for Vladi? I mean, Vladi's got a good Talia. I'm just going to look at his stats. I mean, he's played it 3 games outside of that. Yeah, his win rate is not the greatest, but Fnatic aren't the cleanest team right now. Outside of the last game, they were also vying for a point in playoffs. They were going to be one of the last teams in. But Dagda, we've got Vi, we need pairing. It's going to happen again. A bit of range added into the mix for upset here. And it feels like we're just getting a similar redraft with maybe a question mark into how our mid lane fits into that.
So it looks like it may not be the case that we're going to go for any of our top of the meta picks.
Yeah.
It is instead looking like the Akali. I mean, it works for dive. But actually, no. Last second, going to swap over to the Azir. So
most played.
Yeah.
Comfort.
It is, but I think when you've already got that Vi, you want something that's kind of diving in there with you.
Yeah.
And at the moment, that doesn't exist for Fnatic. So unless you're looking at something like an Ambessa for Empyros, this is where you are kind of now playing Vi without a lot of those tools that she wants to function.
And you also have options for the tank buster here, or rather tank pick, I should say. You talk about Ambessa, Sion's up, Casante's up, running into a Jhin with only an Azir. Let's see if it is top lane or if an AD carry gets locked in here instead. Scaling AD for Han Summer, who's had a bit of a rickety split. It's going to be all on the line here to make these team fights work.
It does open up though if BB wants to go for something a little bit more carry orientated in that top side. You have the Sivir to help with that engage tool. Opens up Labrov as well. So we'll have to see exactly what the game plan is. But as we move forward, I imagine those bans are going to be towards supports on that bottom side. Like just trying to deny things like the Braum, because you definitely want Labrov to take that engage champion. It's what he's been most comfortable on.
Yeah, historically. Alistar most played from both supports. Just looking at this split. Rakan there for Labrov as well. Like the Rel's also brought up. We've got things like Leona, Nautilus, the classic. There's been a fresh game from Lospa. Anything possible here while Nico gets taken off the board, but Renekton ban makes me think, what, we're getting to get an Ambessa from Fnatic here, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were talking about, right? But now you're caught as G2. Do you ban the Ambessa, knowing that Fnatic are going to probably take that? Or do you ban the Alistair, which is such a good pick into the Sivir here as well?
Question, yeah.
So, I mean, it's a difficult call.
A lot of things in this game are going to be difficult. Final ban. Alistair or top lane? You get rid of Rakan. Now, G2 can be the ones who pick up the Alistair instead for themselves. Remembering again, Alistair and a Sivir is something you just can't give over. But also, that top lane is still in question here. Alistair gone, okay, makes sense.
Okay, so it's Fnatic who banned it away. I actually thought they'd kind of leave it, thinking, hey, you take the Alistair, we can match with Lospa on Braum. We've already got some engage tools from Empyros. We're opening up for a potential Ambessa pick of that top side. It kind of was already starting to all function well together, but with the Alistair gone, it makes things significantly less uncomfortable for the Sivir. And it's going to be the Bard to try and deny any sort of plays on the bottom side. Nautilus, I don't think, is the play here, because again, like, you've got tools as the Sivir to try and play around this.
Right. Nautilus gets locked in here. It's another piece of engage to follow up on that Vi. But then we have to show cards to the top again. Cassante, Sion both still open. Easy to see how either would operate here. Empyros has played a lot of Cassante. I think right now they're opting into comfort. Jax would be more so for the Xin Zhao, and I don't think Empyros is going to play Vi top. Like, I don't think this is going to be a flex, you know? We're not talking about Baals. Well,
you kind of just need frontline here. You don't really have those champions. So Broken Blade kind of has to either go for, you know, the Cassante or a Sion, which opens up good opportunities for that Ambessa. So the Poppy is what he's going to go for.
Oh,
it's a good response,
into Azir, into Vi, into Ambessa. Forget just about the lane because it's whatever, but into the comp. Poppy, a monster pick here for Broken Blade as G2 look to keep themselves alive. Dagda, a bit of scaling here as well. They now have a front line and they've got reasonable engage and set up for the ball.
Yeah, I think with the last 2 picks on either side and the bans, I think G2 have rounded out nicely.
Yeah.
I think Fnatic had windows to try and snooker them, but the Alistair ban isn't really doing it for me. Could have been a Poppy ban, could have set up better for the Ambessa on the top side, but now you already called Hysterics. Poppy, great into so many of these picks on Fnatic's side. Sivir, relatively untouched by that Nautilus, unless you're going to invest 2 ultimates in her with the Vi and that Nautilus. And shockwaves for, you know, 2 dive members as well, who aren't exactly big tanks themselves. So there's a lot of answers here on G2 side. But what we've seen throughout this split is that it is not about the draft. It is about how these players enacted on the Rift. And at this moment in time, I don't know where that lands. In the past, it would have been an easy G2 call. They've owned that head-to-head for such a long time.
Really have.
But for Fnatic, this is their moment. G2 are weak and G2 look like they're on their knees, and you have a chance to knock G2 out of playoffs.
For the first time ever, that would be true. G2 have never missed playoffs ever. In the history of them, in the LEC, G2 have always been there. This would break history, break the internet, and it would send out a plague once again of very, very happy rodents. But today has not been a fairy tale, it's been a nightmare for them so far. Now relying on Fnatic, and it is so symbolic, it is so poetic. Cagel's team from 2024, for when he was co-streaming here in the studio, I remember my first year, Dagda. And now he has to rely on that same team. Great quote. As long as there's delusions, there's hope. For G2, their backs against the wall, and a lot of people don't like when G2's backs are there.
That tends to be when they show up. That tends to be where this man on your screen shows up. Caps has kind of been the focal point for G2 for so long. And he's been the one that has to step up now once more. A best of 1 to decide it. And I think the main thing that I want to see in this game is how Labrov and SkewMond link up together. I think that's been where G2 have been at their weakest in this split, is not finding that success where Labrov seems to be going one way, Labrov has gone the other. And if that is the case, that's where Fnatic can try and work with Razork and Lospa to very quickly turn around plays. Like, this core on the jungle and support is very, very strong on Fnatic. I think that's where G2 might struggle if they're not careful.
Caps gets a good trade onto Vladi as well. Clockwork wind up, just gets a couple of those autos in. Vladi takes a big chunk. Not good for the lane so far as Lospa tried to set up with the Warden's Mail, or rather, that Warden's Wrath. Gets some autos in, doesn't manage to do so. SkewMond thought he was going to go for a gank in bot lane, but instead he's going for a bit of an invade. Xin Zhao, one of the best duelists in the game, ready to take on this challenger blue.
Still though, I don't think that wave has been pushed in enough on bot, and Lospa could try and respond. Razork has Lospa coming, but it's level 2 support to level 3.
Yeah, Labrov, all he needs is a wall and to line it up. Lospa dredge line onto the jungler. The stun up though is great. Deadly Flourish follows through. Blue buff over to SkewMond. Now the heist he wants to get on out. Magical journey through. SkewMond is there, but it's taken. Fnatic are going to follow up dissonance for movement speed as well. Labrov, now the new target as he flashes over the wall. Lospa will not commit his. Blue and out. G2 use summoners, but they get the objective.
Yeah, it was a very early reset from Vladi in the TP in. Picked up the Amplifying Tome to try and help out, but they do get away. Still, it's heal and flash burn from Labrov. May not be the most worthwhile blue at the end of the day, but at least SkewMond holding on to his means that maybe he can still be a factor when it comes towards those early duels.
Got a full top side to clear as well. Nice spell shield from Hansama. And for Fnatic, they're just going to look for the push in, but Hans holds the wave out a little bit as well. Oh, he's going to be able to freeze this. This is annoying. Fnatic, yeah, they can't back here. They can't back here. A couple of minutes to reach the turret, but again, this is going to be too slow. They needed to push out. Razork's coming in as well. Maybe just apply the pressure, Dagda, and help upset and Lospa crash so they can get the back. Dredgeline comes in, Deadly Flourish to follow up as well. As well with the Aftershock, there's good damage here. Maybe a dive. Do you think they can dive this?
Upset has no mana, same with Lospa. I don't really think you can, but they're going to desperately try here. SkewMond has made his way to bot side. He didn't actually reset. Razork showing.
Smart pathing here. There's a Shrine out for a bit of HP. G2 have to buy time, but Lospa flashes in. Great gank, great dive, but Lospa dies in the process. First blood goes over to Razork. A 1-for-1 as Hansama's the one who picked up the kill even in death. And SkewMond looks for the kill, now turns to Upset. 3 Talon Strike on Upset. No, doesn't complete. Deadly Flourish dodged away from a 1-for-1, but Upset gets to hit the wave.
And Fnatic are so worth on that play.
Yeah.
You get this wave crash, you deny that from Hansama. This was, I mean, the best case scenario, well, not quite best case, but one of the best cases for Fnatic.
I was just wondering, Labrov trying to pull the wave, but the minion's too low. 2 minions doesn't matter, it's so good. We slow pushing towards Fnatic's bottom lane, so breath of fresh air as Razork does get the kill here for the Vi. But the 1-for-1 means that Hansama comes back with a BF sword, just to be noted there. The bot lane still not really out of that much trouble. There's 15 seconds till Dragon. Bot continues to be the focus here. Obviously top in isolation, Dagda. Empyros getting stunned up a bit by Broken Blade's steadfast presence, but it is what it is. Solo laners for now are just pretty isolated.
I didn't actually twig that the kill went over to Hansama. I just assumed it had gone to Labrov after he'd gone down, so yeah, that extra kill actually making quite a bit of difference there.
It's been the last order.
So Hansama now in an okay spot. Now the wave, you can see there, a massive wave crashing into Upset. So the CS and that gold will even up for Upset.
Oh yeah.
But the fact you get to come back with a BF sword is really big. It's one of the best backs you can have is this Sivir.
Cap's going to shockwave. Oh, Vladi runs into it. He's got lethal tempo up and available as well, but he needs level 6. Cap's going to get dissonance, and Vladi, he made a good outplay, but if he takes one more combo, he's dead. Lethal tempo keeps him in the fray, but Vladi needs that level 6 now, and he needs to make a flashy play with Razork in the vicinity. Labrov found out. Razork sends himself up with the Vol Breaker. SkewMond manages to get the Wind Becomes Lightning. 3 Talon Strike gets a knock up as well. Razork in trouble as Vladi. He's level 6, but he doesn't want to go in. He's scared as Razork flashes away. And jungle help from Razork becomes a bit of a disaster as Summoner's now down.
Yeah, Razork preemptively flashing because SkewMond could have flashed to redirect. The Wind Becomes Lightning connected with it, and that would have been Razork going down. So Razork, respecting this, flashes away, but still pressure on this mid wave. This is getting very, very tense. G2 trying to make plays in lots of different areas.
I mean, SkewMond has just switched it on, right? Like, yeah, there's a small lead for Razork because of the kill, but SkewMond got the invade before. He's kept tempo up. He's a bit ahead in CS. Now with that flash burn, he's able to just take the Dragon, set up the first of this game. And with bot being so precarious, a really nice start to G2. And SkewMond will be level 6 soon as well. And we'll see if he can get some of these summoners out of these solo lanes, because there's still flashes up and available. People like Vladi, Empyros, Upset. Surprisingly, SkewMond needs to start taking them away and start snowballing this game.
The junglers have also completely desynced. You can see the camps are responding on this bottom side now for SkewMond, so he's going to have to clear it, whereas Razork up towards this top side may try and make a quick play towards the top half, or at least try and clear out some of the vision that's up there, but with Broken Blade resetting, not much window.
Razork just got 6 Dagda. I think he can make him play on Caps. Caps has flash though. Caps face checking, wrong time, Bolt Breaker, but doesn't get the summoner. Dissonance was beautiful again. Shockwave up in 3 seconds, Razork will back away.
If Razork had hit that Q, Caps was dead. The ultimate from Vladi, the ultimate from Razork, there just would have been too much damage, and he would have had nowhere to go. And Razork just a little bit short on the play, actually coming in clutch for Caps.
I can't believe he got away with that. Great timing. Ward was placed in the end as well. As Vladi misses, whiffs the ulti shockwave in response. Caps has him on the spot. Labrov, what a roam timer. Flash away from Vladi. Cosmic Binding doesn't connect, and that probably saves his life, but Vladi in a game that is so important will absolutely miss.
I don't know what force field is around Caps, but I need one of them for my solo queue games.
Yeah,
because nothing is hitting that man.
Oh no, we're doing this again.
But does SkewMond have the same?
Razork coming in, he still has his ulti up and available. SkewMond gets a 3 Talon Strike, Wind Becomes Lightning over the wall. The blue is taken away by Razork this time. Dredgeline, but numbers mismatched. G2 had the advantage. Teleport's going to come in from Vladi, but he just uses ulti. SkewMond flashes away from Razork, cease and desist, but Vladi has nothing. You just saw him miss air as Hansama gets a kill. Now Razork has to get out, but he's interrupted. G2 have switched on right when it counts.
G2 have just turned Fnatic off. This has been a stomp. The push in mid has, the play in mid into the push into the jungle, and numbers advantage again. This is just deja vu from the first invade from SkewMond, where Vladi TP's in late. We have a numbers advantage for G2, but Fnatic still tried to take the fight, and it only goes worse this time.
And Vladi, even if he had the ulti there, G2 have already done the damage. Engages out the window. And for Fnatic, an egregious play off for this blue buff. Razork will get it, but he transfers it over to SkewMond again anyway.
Sigh of relief from Dylan Falco on that play. And G2 know they are in a comfortable position. Dragon stacking. Labrov going to be here to force Razork away, so it will be the majority of the boy grubs going across to G2 as well. But the kills are all going to the areas they need. Like Hansama 2-1 and 2, very quickly stacking up towards his items. Caps in a good spot as well. And with Dragon in 2 minutes time, like, you should have these first items completed. And G2 should be in a reasonably decent spot to contest, just because Caps had so much control over this mid wave.
G2, as you said, with those kills in the right spot, obviously very, very confident here. 2K gold lead. They've got a Dragon under their wing as well. It really is a game right now that you kind of expect to see from a team like G2. When it counts as top lane, getting a little bit frisky. Empyros takes a hammer shock, but not the second charge. Broken Blade's been fine in the matchup. In fact, he has a bit of a CS lead. Empyros, I think, will be okay once he gets that eclipse, once he gets that item to get the shield, trade a little bit better. Maybe things do get better for the top laner, but for now, it is G2's story, and we are just simply telling it. Almost first item for Hansama there, by the way, as SkewMond gets his. On the other side of the map, I can't see any first items there, so SkewMond obviously quite ahead.
It's just the fact as well that you can't really make plays now as Fnatic. You wanted to try and play around this bottom side with Lospa having the setup to enable Razork because he hit level 6 to try and make plays on towards Hansama and Labrov, like take out the squishy bot lane. But with SkewMond repeatedly invading on this bottom side, the advantages on the push for Hansama are there. The ability to actually make plays has just gone out the window because you're constantly on the back foot. But Vladi, one more time. I wasn't sure if you wanted to try and go for the shuffle there.
Yeah, but Caps
Lost behind him.
Blade again, good interrupt, but the shot back, a turret shot. Empyros has to be careful. Buckler comes out for the shield in case it went further. Mana a little bit low from Broken Blade, so he stops there. He's got to keep his verdict available and a teleport. There's a bit of action getting pinged around bot as Labrov goes for a deep ward, but Razork just can't punish, doesn't want to pop the ulti.
I'm just going to take that one safe. Still, Vladi going low in this mid lane.
Shockwave again. Wait for the dissonance command attack. Vladi gets out with the shifting sands, but as he walks back into the last minion, his teleport's not available. Caps has a 1 minion lane in front of him. That gets pushed in. Vladi has to stick around, and now Razork has to cover again. But Labrov following through. Magical Journey is there. Wind becomes lightning, doesn't connect. Caps goes through, pokes out Vladi. This mid laner is constantly under fire. Caps is gapping right now.
And that's causing major issues. The Dragon's up, and G2 just get to take it for free. Vladi's reset got interrupted. Razork couldn't try and play around mid. And I wanted to see Labrov and SkewMond working together. Well, they're like a two-man army right now. There's nothing Fnatic can do to get past them.
It's a lane kingdom. I mean, this is what you want to see. And we've seen it a couple of games, this split from Caps, but seeing it right here at the very last one is impressive stuff. 2 dragons for G2. It is not looking good for the team of the people. But remember, before the team of the people, there was the team of Europe. People will argue it's Fnatic. Yeah, Season 1 world champions, but G2 have long since been the dominating force. The fact they're in this position still blows my mind. We haven't seen many games like this one, though, to be fair, as Lane Quest is complete for Caps. As one of the first, G2 have got the top side of the map, in fact, completed.
But this is where G2, we talked about, are the most dangerous. We know they're a team that can just turn it on when it matters. And now against Fnatic, it seems like they're doing just that. 2 minutes now until the Rift Herald. Imagine resets are kind of where our push out into looking for resets for items, into starting to shift people around the map is where G2 are going to be. And I think if I'm Fnatic, I want to start trying to make plays towards Caps. He still has a flash, which does make it tough. But when this Orianna enters into a side lane, that's where she's at her most vulnerable. But BB.
Flash, but the flashback is even better. Empyros can't escape. Now he's got a 2v1. So well played from Broken Blade. And SkewMond is running the top side of the map too.
And Vladi nearly died in mid lane as well with Caps in the 1v1.
Yeah.
Had to shuffle away.
Line comes in. I mean, the 2v2, what are they going to do there? Storm Surge Sivir. Doesn't really matter. Upset doesn't have a full item in his name, and it's just nullified. G2's bottom lane are chilling in their own right. And as you said, Caps is finding so much pressure in this lane. And Vladi still has his flash, but now he's burned TP again.
And he's just not standing a chance. I know that Orianna wins the matchup early, but it's not supposed to be quite to this level. Caps making a statement game here. And the fact, again, that he's been doing it without having to burn his flash, without having to burn these spells, is what's causing more issues for Fnatic. Like, again, Razork can play mid with Vladi, where Vladi ults once, you burn the flash and Caps, and then you just go for a repeat performance. But Razork's been under so much threat. And as well, Vladi just hasn't been able to win out in the 1v1. So now you're looking at level 9 on Razork. SkewMond a full level ahead of him. G2 setting up on this bottom side for Dragon. Sorry, Provision if Fnatic try to make some sort of cross-map play with Rift Herald coming up, but there's just no way you can do it.
If there was ever a player, Razork would have to be him. 30 seconds till Herald.
Oh, they just died from boss.
They're taking everything, yeah. Empyros is now just spotting it out. Good sidestep there. The wind becomes lightning, but Labrov still taking the angle. If Empyros steps forward, he's still in trouble, but Caps is solo taking the turret plating, and Orianna's very good at this. Just winding up the clockwork yet again with 2 grubs. This will be another plate eventually, but more minions denied to more members of Fnatic. That's why this gold is never-endingly growing as Upset gets boomeranged out, but mid-plate also taken as well. Upset gets a deadly flash, but it doesn't matter. And Razork, you can see, looking for an angle, but what can he do?
Lospa shifted bot lane to cover for a potential dive, but there's no one in the tear now. Labrov, exhausted to use. Okay. But in a 3v3, G2 win. And
SkewMond's always here. SkewMond's always covering. Line narrowly avoided, or rather missed. Razork is going to start up the Herald, but Broken Blade is in position.
Reset on Caps in bot lane. He can TP into this play. G2 want to fight, they know it.
It's Keeper's verdict though. With a teleport coming for a flank, Fnatic need a miracle here. They find a pick and maybe that's it. Everything used in the kitchen sink on SkewMond, and down he goes for a shutdown. Broken Blade is found out with the TB from Empyros, and some relief for the Fnatic fans and faithful as they minimize the gold a little bit.
At least there's something back with Rift Herald. Caps will continue to push on the bottom side. Won't get the tower, I believe, but put a big, decent dent in it. But that's what Fnatic needed. Again, G2 just a little separated on the play. Caps didn't get the reset, didn't get the TP, and Fnatic could collapse.
They used a lot to do it, but it won't matter because there's no response play from G2 as we look at the replay.
Yeah, you can see Caps is reset on the bot side, so I assumed it was reset into teleport, but then he doesn't actually get the TP, cancels this. Yeah, because you've already got SkewMond caught. So Fnatic finding that opportunity. And again, the Rift Herald would just give them a little bit of gold. A little bit of pressure on the map. And it's these little cracks that might be starting to form here that Fnatic want to just try and get a fingernail in, something in, to try and find any way through the wall of G2 right now.
It went from 3k to 2.3, but Labrov is going to solo take a mid-turret as the support with grubs. So it's back to 3,000 yet again. Not often do you see Labrov, or rather a Bard, just opening up mid by himself, but it was already quite weakened. Caps did a lot of that by his lonesome too. He's even working on the bot side turret, which is very close to going down. Labrov making the roam up, while Razork's up in the top side of the map. Herald's going to be spawned. Broken Blade in ult range, but Razork doesn't have it. So
he's TP'd out.
He's going to TP, he's going to get on out. Herald's going to charge up, but Caps has got full access to the bottom lane turret. This is, I mean, still a decent trade for G2. Remember, they got 2 turrets in total. It's
also the gold went to Razork, because Empyros wasn't in range for the plate gold, which doesn't really help out in the matchup, and sure helps out Razork a little bit, but Caps is getting solo gold.
Yep.
And if I wanted gold on anyone, it would not be the Vi in this comp.
And they just got 3rd Dragon Dagda. While G2 play bottom side of the map, it's a timer around Dragon. So again, it's like Fnatic are grasping at straws, but I think G2 are, you know, the business that's selling them, as it were. You know what I mean?
I do.
Good.
And now it's G2 that get to set up, back out onto the map a little bit sooner. Razork is hovering mid with Lospa. We haven't quite seen this combo work out for them. And now with G2 once more en masse, 4 members here. Fnatic sent packing. And it'll be a repeat performance with getting vision in this bottom side jungle, keeping Orianna safe on her bot lane push, and making it difficult for Fnatic to make these pick plays onto a side lane.
And we haven't even seen the Caps SkewMond combo with Jhin Zhao yet. Like, now that Cap's getting some items, and will have his Zhonya's pretty soon as well, with just the AP and the advantage he has in this game, there's a lot of dive, especially with the Bards. So for G2, their options are only getting greater. Caps has a 1,700 gold lead and a 40 CS lead over Vladi. I know the matchup is, I mean, good in the early levels, but I didn't know it was this good. I mean, this is just a player difference right now that Fnatic have to overcome, either at the Soul Point, at the Dragon that's coming up in 340, or the Baron fight, or some kind of pick that G2 inevitably is also setting up.
Lospa.
Base check, not good. Found out, Dredge line out. Blast Cone saves his life. Interrupted midway by the 3 Talent Strike. Tempered Fate also going to catch the support out. And now Labrov has a wall there, but Tempered Fate going to be used and not found anything from. Blue buff is the response, however, and G2 still have control of the bottom side of this jungle.
Yeah, they don't get the kill, but they get all of Razork's bottom side, which is just as painful if you're a jungler. And I was going to say, like, Did we get him here?
I don't know. Empyros, he's got 2 items with Black Cleaver in the long con.
But I was going to say, performances like this from Caps are why it's always so difficult to count out a team like G2.
Yeah.
At a moment's notice, he can just turn it on. Happy to take the Orianna side of the matchup into the Azir. Knows that he can bully in the early stages. And has just completely ran around Vladi in this game.
So now we wait. 20 seconds for Baron, by the way. Keep that in the back of your mind. That's always up and available. But 2 items on Hans Summer. That is just a scaling threat that G2 have in their back pocket too. I mean, Vladi needs some items. Vladi needs to catch up to Caps right now. You're seeing Empyros at 2 items, which is great, but into Broken Blade, he's just nullified every time into this Poppy. You need to see Fnatic start using the tools. The Vi Ambessa combo in Europe end of last year was this sought-after thing. In summer, I'm talking about this perfect pairing. We haven't seen it sync up yet. All we've seen is more stories to tell about G2. Wave denial. -1 cannon. Caps is at every scene of the crime for these turrets. Every single one, he's there to claim.
Fnatic are trying to basically do the same as G2 and funnel some resources into Vladi on this bottom side. Broken Blade is in a better position, resets, covers bot lane play, while G2 still keeping pressure up and around this Baron area.
Caps even willing to face check as well. Level 13 Orianna. Yeah, Vladi's the same level as I now check, but I mean, Caps is almost level 14. You can see his XP bar is just cresting over the top. So it's just showing the difference. We're getting a Hextech Alternator. Sorry, rather, a Shadow Flame getting picked up here by Vladi. Components picked up, almost second item. Zhonya's still quelled out or waiting for Caps for the time being. That's worth noting.
At this stage, it's kind of a, does he even have to stop off for the Zhonya's?
Oh, you think he goes Rabadons?
Well, I was going to say, if you never burn the Seeker's Arm Guard, you might as well go straight towards the Rabadons, right?
Very true.
He's been farming up an absolute storm, so at this stage, unless it gets burnt at this next Dragon, there's no real reason for him to pick up the Zhonya's.
Keep an eye on Caps on the minimap then. We'll wait for that back. That's a fantastic point. You're right, he hasn't had a chance, hasn't really needed to use it as well. And maybe that's why Caps hasn't backed away, because I thought 1,300 over Vladi, and Vladi's like almost towards that Shadow Flame, where Caps must be scaling it up. Now he's sitting there, he's backing now Dagda.
Yeah,
so
he's sitting on 1,400 gold.
Okay,
so
another needlessly large.
So if I was him, I'd buy the needlessly, and then it's only 450 gold to combine regardless, right?
Yeah, there
so
it is.
you have enough money with the Doran's ring cell to get the 450, so take the extra little bit of AP damage, and you still get the value. And if this fight goes well, finish off a Rabadons, and you're in a great spot.
I mean, G2 are in a great spot all around. They're once again playing this bush for the pick against Fnatic. Broken Blade gets the stun up. The rest of Fnatic are on the way. Need an Ambessa ult from Empyros if they want to make this play. Deadly Flourish does connect. The Keeper's Verdict gets buffered. One ulti for another, but they're not equal. They need to follow up, though. Broken Blade, Steadfast Presence once again gets him out of dodge. But now both top laners are down to their R.
The reset's coming through for both of those top laners. TP's available to try and come through. Actually, it's not Broken Blade resetting. He's just going to sit on bot wave. Fnatic as a group.
Teleport. Oh! Caps! He found 4 and the Tempered Fate follows up as well. SkewMond's ulti is another big circle. The wall presents itself, and in one fell swoop, the Rat Rebellion seems to be falling short, and instead, G2 just gets a perfect combination.
It was the Sleeping Beauty of the 4 dwarfs there. Like, I'll let you pick the names for them, because I know what's in my head is they just wandered in, all 4 of them, to a shockwave in a bush. What did you expect?
Broken play, congratulations, but yeah, Fnatic, bit dumbfounded with the play. One fell swoop, and the dream run that Fnatic now had to carry across the finish line not only has been out of the woodwork for a while in this game, it now feels so far gone. Empyros with the dream play. Teleport in the top side of our map. Empyros has no ulti. He's got a Mega Blast Cone as Vladi tries to take the wave and now sets up the Sun Tower, but G2 want to make the play against the wall. It's a nice setback, but again, Caps keeps him in place. Down, boy, down. Ulti comes through, but Caps buffers again. The best mid lane is going to drop down eventually as Empyros gets the shutdown. Hansama the next up as well. Razork finally finds him. Dredge line buffered, but SkewMond is better. Hansama presses his buttons, and all it takes is Fnatic going in the dirt again for Europe to start crying.
The spell shield was perfect, but you know they're there. You just got hit with a boomerang blade. Why are you walking in as a group? It's a fed Orianna. I don't understand what Fnatic were thinking, but G2 gonna be more than happy to take that one. And here it's heroics from Empyros.
Yeah.
Vladi kind of back to his bait here. Gets the Emperor's divide, and Empyros manages to burn that Seeker's arm guard on Caps.
Oh, but Caps.
And still get the kill. But keep your eyes on Hansama in this fight. He ends up just kiting backwards here, past Razork. Having that help from SkewMond, that spell shield onto Lospa's hook was perfect to just eke out enough damage. You can see there, the face is a little nervous.
Yeah, there was another face that's quickly shied away from. Looks a little bit sad, I don't blame him. To have your hands in Fnatic. I mean, it's so difficult now. Razork needs to show up or shut up. 6K, 5K, 4K, a steal of the gods here needed. Over the wall, will he go at 3, 2, 1, too late. Kurt called on do too much, tempered fate onto Vladi, and now Magical Journey taking in Empyros. G2 is stacked up though. It's a shockwave again. That's the problem. Razork gets the ulti down, but it's too late. Hansama keeps clearing up. He's the janitor of this game as G2 are on the warpath and Fnatic are in the grey screen.
G2 are marching down mid lane. There's 30-second death timers they won't be able to end, but they can certainly do some damage to the base of Fnatic.
Too true. That comment, too true. Being a Fnatic fan over the years, they're really getting a real look at it here today. The base in tatters. Almost a 12K gold lead at 25 minutes in the game. It just shows you, you always think, G2, they're gonna miss playoffs, like we've thought in many different splits, but here they thrive yet again.
And it's just great play. Like, Lospa does a good job here when Broken Blade goes for the ultimate of keeping himself in place. But it's actually the ultimate from Labrov onto Vladi that really steals the deal here. They then go through with the Magical Journey, the shockwave onto 2. And what does Upset do in the backline? Yeah. Like, he cannot get into this fight. It's over a wall that he just has no way of closing the gap on.
Hansama cleaned up the fight again. I call him the janitor because 3.6K gold lead. He just gets to walk up in the fight and deal damage. Upset is on 2 items. Hansama is on 4. This Sivir's not only scaled at 25 minutes, she's hyper-scaled. And now the biggest question is, how slowly will Fnatic lose this game? How many Lost Returns fans will be crying into their pillows tonight? Because G2 have once again stepped up to the challenge, and they are not going to start missing playoffs all of a sudden because there are new viewers.
But how many fans of G2 are going to breathe a sigh of relief? This G2 has not really been seen all split long. But once again, when the chips are down, when playoffs are on the line, when their hopes of LEC Versus are here, they keep going.
Dredge line is an opportunity. It's a good engagement. SkewMond has a circle of anti-death. Shockwave again. Caps again. Empyros comes in late, but the GOAT of Europe stands in the way. Before the team of the people, there was the team of Europe, and it starts with G2 and will end with them as well. LEC Versus is over. Lost Returners are done. They relied on the wrong damn team. And G2, right when they wanted to make playoffs, they said yes, of course,
We'll be there. We always are, and we always will be.